Welcome to Your Passaggi Professor, a podcast for singers who want tools to bridge the gap between the hard skills we learn in music school and the soft skills we need to live focused, intentional lives. I'm your host, Sarah Neely, voice professor, director, and certified life coach. Each week, we'll talk about mindset, emotional regulation, boundaries, and more so you can navigate the passaggi of your life both on and off the stage. Hey, lovelies. Welcome back. Today we are talking about something that I am actively practicing in my own life. Decision making. And I want to say this right at the top. This is not something I have mastered. It's something I'm working on because I am very capable of getting stuck in what I call I don't know land. You know that place? When you're researching, thinking, waffling, making pros and cons lists, asking 5 different people, waiting for clarity, waiting to feel ready. It feels productive, but nothing actually changes. You don't accomplish anything. If you've ever delayed choosing repertoire, waited months to schedule an audition, stayed in a teaching situation you've outgrown, postponed launching something creative, or couldn't decide which grad programs to apply to, this episode is for you. Because unmade decisions cost you more than imperfect ones ever will. When you're in indecision, your brain feels busy. It feels like you're working on the problem, but what you're often doing is indulging certain emotions. Let's define that. Indulgent emotions are emotions that feel active, but actually keep you stuck. This is confusion, overwhelm, worry, doubt, that I just need more information, let me keep researching feeling. Those feel responsible, but they don't move you forward. When I'm in I don't know land, I feel low-grade stress. I feel buzzy, mentally noisy, or as I call it, squiggle-brained, like that cartoon, you know the one? Or even heavy. But making the decision, that takes 5 seconds. No, seriously, all decisions are actually made in an instant. Staying undecided can drain you for weeks. You're either moving forward or rehearsing hesitation. There is no quote-unquote right decision. Most paralysis comes from the belief that there is a right decision and a wrong decision. For singers, this can show up like, is this the right Fach? Is this the right grad school? Is this the right teacher? Is this the right audition? What if I choose wrong? But what if there isn't a right or wrong choice? What if there's only a choice and then your response to the result? The decision itself is neutral. You create the outcome through your commitment, your mindset, and then your adjustments, or in other words, just making the next decision. The only true mistake is refusing to decide, because no decision guarantees no growth or no change, right? Let's zoom out for a second and talk brain science. Your primitive brain seeks pleasure, wants to avoid pain, and conserve energy. This is the motivational triad. Your brain also loves familiarity. It uses the past to predict safety. It says, last time I auditioned, it didn't go well. Or, remember that rejection? Don't do that again. Or, you've never been good at high notes. Or, let's not risk it. And that's just survival wiring. It's like, cool brain, thanks. Appreciate it, but chill out. But we don't have to be stuck in primitive brain. We can use our prefrontal cortex, which is the strategic future thinking part of you that helps us tolerate discomfort to build something bigger and better. When you use your prefrontal cortex, you can say, yes, that happened before, but I'm building a different future. I'm going to make a different choice. This kind of ties back into our idea of emotional childhood and emotional adulthood. Emotional childhood reacts from history. That's the primitive part of your brain that, just wants to eat chips. But emotional adulthood, salad that you plan to eat because you know it's better for your health in the long run. Which brings us to another amazing life skill concept called past focused versus future focused. If you always decide from your past, you will recreate your past. Your brain wants to scan for old evidence, but your power is in designing forward. Instead of asking what usually happens, or what did I do last time, or what if I fail again, ask yourself, who do I want to become? What future am I building? What would my future self 3 years from now decide to do? Or what would my 3 years from now self thank me for? The past is data. The future is design. Those are different energies. As a singer, this might look like past focused. I've never been good at auditions. I don't book things. I always get nervous. But if you're future focused, you can practice thoughts like, I am becoming someone who auditions consistently. I am becoming someone who sings high notes freely. I am building resilience. These subtle mindset shifts change your decisions and change your life. Most people don't know what they want, but they know what they don't want. I don't want to feel stressed. I don't want to be behind. I don't want to embarrass myself. But when you ask yourself, what do you want? Radio silence. This is actually really surprising, and it's true for me, for sure. So let's do this exercise together. I want you to write 25 things that you want. And now this is not things that sound impressive, not things that you think you should want, but really sit down and decide, what do you actually want? You'll be surprised how hard it is because we practice avoidance more than desire. So it's the buffering, right? So for singers, this might include, I want to sing roles that light me up. I want financial stability. I want flexibility, whether that's in your voice or in your schedule or your career, right? I want to feel free in my upper register or a lower register, whatever. In my middle voice, I want to be able to mix, something like that. I want to experience joyful rehearsals. I want to work with collaborators who respect me. And here's something beautiful. You can also include things on your 25 want list that you already have. And that becomes gratitude. And gratitude stabilizes your nervous system while you build more. Your wants are the coordinates to your future. Without them, you're wandering. And like I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, this is something I'm currently still working on in my life. And dreaming about starting this platform and this podcast for so many years. But I kept telling myself, I don't know how, I'm too busy, my calendar's too full. Nothing has changed. My schedule is still just as busy, if not busier. And yet, now that I'm making this podcast every week, I'm writing my newsletter, I'm creating content, I actually have more energy, not less. Because aligned action energizes you. Indecision drains you. Avoidance drains you. Self-doubt drains you. But going after what you want activates something in you. And it's not delusion, it's alignment. So do it. I'm telling you from personal experience. when you're moving in the right direction, you will feel more energized. Okay, now let's get to some more practical things for our decision-making tool belt. So first of all, I want you to know, open-ended decisions are energy leaks. Remember I said decisions are made super quick in moments. But you have to set a deadline for your decisions. If you say, I'll decide eventually, it'll come to me, your brain keeps chewing on it, gnawing away. But instead, set a specific deadline. If you say, I will decide by Friday at 5 p.m., you build a little container, and once you decide, you have to practice integrity and follow through. This is not the same energy as forcing it, or creating shame around it. It's integrity. You decided from your highest self, from that prefrontal cortex, and when tomorrow comes and you don't feel like following through on the decision you made, just know that's your primitive brain wanting comfort, wanting to eat chips instead of salad. That doesn't mean the decision was wrong. It means you're growing. So I want you to expect that you're going to feel this resistance and the urge to not follow through with your plan, and build that skill of trust in yourself and in your decision-making tools. You made the decision from your highest self for your future self, so don't trade the quick dopamine hit of taking the easy way out. Keep your word to yourself, practice it, so that you get the even bigger payoff of the long-term dopamine hit and becoming the future version of yourself that you've been dreaming of. Now here's another tool for you. This is called the future diagram. Take a piece of paper and draw a line. Put 0 on the left end and 100 on the right. And then mark your current age and look at the space left. Because our brains love to say, oh, it's too late, I'm behind, I missed my chance. When you look at that diagram and you realize how much time you actually have left visually, it empowers you to see how your decisions can compound and continue to grow. One audition, one lesson, one application, one risk, one step, and one decision at a time. These all build towards the life you've been dreaming about. So as we wrap up today, if you recognize yourself in I don't know land, I want you to know that you're not incapable, you're not behind, you're not bad at life or decision making. You just haven't practiced decisive thinking yet. So this week, choose one thing you've been waffling on and set a decision. Decide and move. Next week, we're going to talk about what happens after you decide, how to turn those wants into goals, how to build some structure, how to execute strategically. But first, you have to exercise that decision-making muscle. And I'm doing it here along with you. So I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for listening to Your Passaggi Professor with Sarah Neely. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe and leave a review wherever you listen. This really helps the podcast reach more singers just like you. And if you're ready to learn the life skills that smooth the passaggi of your life, you can follow me on Instagram at your_passaggi_professor. That's Passaggi with 2 S's and 2 G's. There's a link in my bio where you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter and learn more about working with me. See you next time.